Hi everybody, I just wanted to show you something that's going on in Norway regarding BOVAER. It's a little video. I found it on X, and it only came out on the 31st of July, so it's quite a recent thing. It's just sort of explaining, a woman is on there talking to the camera, explaining, you're going to watch it in a minute, but she's explaining about what's happening in Norway, etc. It's really worth a watch, so we're going to watch it right now.
The Norwegian people and farmers are f***ing pissed. Did you know that the producer of the chemical BOVAER, which Norwegian politicians just forced farmers to give their cows, is partially owned by the Norwegian Oil Fund, aka the Pension Fund, the largest investment fund in the world owned by the Norwegian taxpayers? And who is the second biggest shareholder? BlackRock, of course. And if you didn't know, they own about half the world. Norwegian politicians will force farmers to add the methane-reducing chemical to their cow feed by 2027 if they want to receive government support. Why? Because the cow is the most dangerous animal on the planet. The law passed despite 40,000 Norwegians signed petitions to stop the law, and many farmers and veterinarians coming out saying it's nonsense. The farmers also complained that they will have to use protective gloves and masks in order to add the chemicals to the feed. A chemical most studies claim does not enter our milk, but no long-term studies exist on the health of our cows or ours. It will cost around $100 or 1,000 Norwegian kroners per cow per year, making it a $2 billion industry just in Europe. In Denmark, BOVAER is already required in all milk cows from 2025. Weirdly, studies show grass-fed or eco-farms have less emissions due to less fuel and feed cost, a solution that will always be better for the environment. But Europe is now world-leading in only one thing: making dumb rules that nobody wants. And if it creates another green industry big corporations can make money on and make your food more expensive, it is the holy trinity of EU regulations.
So it's interesting what she says about the shareholders, because obviously we all knew BlackRock was a shareholder of DSM Firmenich, the producers, the makers of BOVAER, but so are Norwegian Oil Fund, and that's actually a Norwegian pension fund, so it's actually a tax, it belongs to the people. I'm not sure, they're using pension fund money presumably to invest, allegedly. There's something in that, I think. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm kind of getting from that little video. Yeah, I mean, and they're being forced to. It's like a bit like Denmark, but if they don't, they're going to lose their government support grants if they don't use BOVAER by 2027. And obviously what she's saying is the Norwegian farmers are extremely unhappy about this. So, yeah, that's an interesting development. I will put a link in the description to the X, that little snippet. It came from Wide Awake Media on X, which does come up with some interesting stuff. There was even something that I kind of favorited as well about CO2 and the fake premise of climate change and net zero, etc. That's on that X account. So if you are on X, go, and you haven't subscribed, go subscribe to them, because I think they come up with some really good stuff. So yeah, that's interesting. There was this other thing Jackie sent me. Oh my god, Jackie, thank you so much. I mean, unbelievable. So like your butter, do you fancy it being made from CO2, carbon monoxide, or is it that I'm under a tree and it's dropping its seeds, so if you hear the odd bang, I hope it doesn't crack my windscreen. Jesus. Yeah, not carbon dioxide. Hold on, an image will come up here. I found articles about it going far back as about a year ago, but I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if you've heard of this. I mean, what with lab meat, edible insects, etc. I hadn't heard of the butter one. I really hadn't, and it's obviously been out there kind of, but this is the first I've heard. And so when Jackie emailed me, I was like, what? So we'll dive into that now. So here we go. So Jackie's emailed me saying another crazy invention, and Bill Gates. Bill Gates is the investor of a company called Saver. Sort of more images might come come up. I've screenshot quite a few. A company backed by Bill Gates has created butter made from carbon dioxide, not cows. And again, it's this whole push to kill the agricultural industry, 100%. And in fact, quickly, if anyone has heard of this, but there's is it somewhere up north? I can't remember where it is, but a load of the compulsory purchases are being threatened on an area of over 2,000 acres where they want to build a solar farm on prime agricultural land. Oh, I saw that and I should try and find it, but I can't find where it is. I'm on a car park, so see where they go. So anyway, getting back to the butter. A butter made from air might sound like science fiction, but a California startup named Savor is turning it into reality. Backed by Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, the company has unveiled a dairy-free butter alternative that uses carbon dioxide, hydrogen and oxygen to build fat molecules through a thermochemical process, eliminating the need for cows entirely. I mean, we could say, highly processed not. Oh, for God's sake. While still in the pre-commercial stage, Savor claims its products not only mimics the taste and texture of traditional butter, but also carries a much lower environmental impact. Yeah, I guess a bit. They say that about lab meat, don't they? But it's so highly processed that they need massive labs that need a huge amount of electricity. I would not agree with that. Obviously, it's the narrative, though, isn't it? Compared to regular unsalted butter, which produces about 2.4 grams of CO2 equivalent per calorie, Savor's version could come in under 0.8 grams. Could come in. See, it's speculative, so it's all BS, isn't it? The innovation arrives as food tech companies increasingly explore alternatives to livestock-based products to reduce climate harm. But again, if your premise is based on something that isn't real, then that in itself, it's just a money-making scam. That's all it is. The UN estimates livestock is responsible for nearly 15% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Well, perhaps you need to talk to countries like America. They produce more. It just drives me nuts, actually, because it's all based on a premise that is fake. Because it's a money-making industry, climate change. Let's face it. Gates, a vocal advocate for climate-conscious innovations. The man's a nutter. We all know that. Is that? Should I cut that out? Will I get sued? Allegedly, he's a nutter. Make your own mind up. Gates, a vocal advocate for climate-conscious innovations, highlighted that Savor's process not only avoids emissions but also uses no farmland. Well, that's because they want to build on it. That's their ultimate aim. Or build solar farms but dim the sun so the solar farms don't work. Why are we living in this day and age? It just seems to me like it's just crazyville. It's just crazy. And if you disagree, God help you. Do you know what I mean? But also uses no farmland and dramatically less water than traditional agriculture. With regulatory hurdles still ahead, the butter won't hit shelves until 2025. So, this was sourced in 2024. A media release. Hold on, I'll try and find out what's the latest. But it's already stirring interest in the future of sustainable eating. You're going to get the niche people, aren't you? You're going to get the people who go, oh, look at me, I'm eating this sustainable butter. I'm a vegan and this matters. The planet's going to die in 10 years, that type of thing. Not saying all vegans believe that, but, generally, people who do believe the planet's going to die tend to be not want to eat meat and all the rest of it. Just saying. I could be wrong, but I kind of doubt it. I'm trying to get on the Savor website. That's a great start, isn't it? Oh, it's the colour of butter. I think that's on purpose. My internet's a bit dodgy here, actually, to be fair. Pure, versatile, sustainably made fats. Sounds delicious. And it does actually have a little video. Oh God, should we watch it? Right. This is obviously...
I think simplicity is very beautiful.
We'll watch this, okay? So that's what you're going to see next.
You know, I just like the detail that there is to putting a dish together.
Scratch that. I just thought maybe they might take issue on that. What I will do is I'll put a link to their website and you can have a look for yourself. I just suddenly thought, because it's not on social media, it's on their website, there could be a copyright thing going on there. So I don't want to risk that. So, well, let's have a little... You're not watching it, but you're listening.
Proofing and baking. There's a lot of little nuances that you don't really get in savory cooking.
Oh, shut up.
For me, it was like, okay, let's create things that kind of always been inspiring to me.
It's all the artsy, fartsy pants
We started off
stuff,
serving
isn't it?
meat, fish, and dairy, and we subtracted the meat, which has led us down to the path of removing dairy from the menu. There hasn't been a source that, for us, that's sustainable enough to put it on the menu. But I wanted to make a recipe that is literally inherently... The answer has always been there, but it's been unlocked by very smart people.
It's about to end. That's about as good as it gets. It doesn't say anything about how it's made or anything like that. Oh, God. So I'll just dive into how they make it, because I was quite curious. The California-based company uses a thermochemical process to create fat molecules, aiming to replicate the taste and texture of real butter without using livestock or plant-based crops like those needed for margarine. Gates, an investor through his venture capital firm Breakthrough Energy Ventures, has praised the product, stating it tastes like the real thing because chemically it is. Oh, God. Savor claims this butter has a significantly lower carbon footprint, and then it goes to claim what that is, less than 0.8 CO2 equivalent per calorie compared to 2.4 for traditional butter. Claims it's not... I mean, even if it was, I don't care. It's completely horrific. It's just it's the representation of destroying an agricultural industry that's been around for thousands of years at our own peril. I don't mean to be funny, but you can't be, we've been using, my bloody great grandmother was a dairy maid. It's just a killing off an industry. That in itself is wrong. It's just wrong. And foolish and all sorts. It's just, if you're going down that road, all right, if you rich people want to eat fake butter that's made from carbon, dioxide, hydrogen and oxygen, go for it. Fill your boots. I bet they'll charge a fortune for the privilege. Personally, real butter all the way. Organic is even better if you can afford it. But if you can't, real butter, just, save it, yeah, bloody blah, we've done that. And uses minimal water and no farmland. And there it is. The company launched the product commercially in 2025, targeting restaurants and bakeries with plans to expand to other fats like milk, cheese and ice cream. However, some sources raises concerns about the lack of transparency regarding the nutritional value, 100%, or potential unwanted chemicals in the synthetic fat. Well, there's something else we've got to watch out for. I mean, if it's been... They want to protect restaurants. What bakeries are taking on this synthetic butter? It may well be just in America at the moment, but, it could be here. There's another subject I'd like to dive into. This one's slightly more awkward because it involves the name of the channel. I'm kind of feeling, look, I've been doing this for how long? October, I think it'd be 3 years. I'll quickly have a look at how many, and obviously it started out as a purely cooking channel, which is, that's great. Let me just look at so bear with, I just got to go onto my channel. I just want to show you something. how many videos and all that kind of stuff I've done. I mean, it surprises myself. Obviously, so I've done altogether 412 videos in the last nearly 3 years. I did, and what happened was when I started this channel, and quite a few of you who are recent won't have watched those. I was producing 3 a week for a good 2 solid years until I kind of, I had to work, and it would sort of fluctuate to 2. Or I then went back to 3, and then I was still working again, because I've worked in a fair few jobs in the last 3 years. This is the first time, though, now where I'm actually working sort of equivalent to full-time hours. So it's changed the way, my availability, if you like. And I don't want to stop doing YouTube 100%. In fact, if anything, I want to do more. But it's kind of evolving away from actual cooking. Although I will hasten to say, cooking isn't something I'm going to want to give up entirely. It's just it's not going to be as often as I like it, but it will always be food-based interest. So, it's one of those. I feel this is why I feel it's a little bit awkward, because I feel I need to do this, but I can understand why some of you might go, oh, that's nice, I just want to watch cooking. I get that, but I do have a massive playlist of cooking recipes, to be fair. And what I'm finding is, it's one of those, there's only so many ways you can rehash sort of cooking recipes. And I've cooked an unbelievable amount of cakes. I've cooked lots of a lot of air fryer recipes. I've got so many, and I've got a really huge playlist of all this cooking stuff. And the only difference is that I've got a slightly nicer kitchen, so it's like there's not, there's nothing. It's difficult to find some new, So if I'm only cooking once every 2 weeks. And I can't, because of life circumstances, it's difficult. I can't sort of make sure that there's that's going to be every 2 weeks. But there will be more cooking recipes. It's just saying they're going to be once a week. I'm finding that hard. It's because it takes all day to do one recipe in the kitchen, and if I'm only getting 2 to 3 days off a week, depending on what time, when the year, because in the term time it's going to be 2 days. So obviously spending time with the family, and then I'm finding that I'm going to need to just be in the kitchen all day. It's kind of hard on a weekly basis. I like to visit supermarkets. I like to go out and about a bit more. I'd like to talk about food like we are, BOVAER related, lab meat, synthetic carbon dioxide butter, all of that's really, I find extremely interesting. And I want to sort of investigate stuff like that, as I already have been. But it is obviously that these aren't cooking vlogs. I do want to go out and about a bit more. I love food reviewing. I am doing that. I kind of created a separate channel, but it's quite hard to maintain separate channels, and this is my main channel. So if it's food related, I want it on this channel. That's basically it. And if I go out and about, and I kind of like drop in and view, because I really love visiting places, and all that kind of stuff. And as my kids are getting older, I'm finding that that's a possibility. Obviously there's going to be food involved at some point, like we might go and buy a really lovely sandwich somewhere and give a mini review, all that kind of stuff. All of that really interests me. So, and there's the other stuff that's kind of not art related that I might chuck in every so often, like the updates on the Austin, which is still going on. It's just I'm literally I've almost found a mechanic where I can take the car and they'll work on it at their garage. I just got to get it there, and I don't have a tow bar, and I need it to be transported from A to B, and that's what I'm working on at the moment, trying to find the right price, because it's quite costly. So that's, developments on the Austin are coming. I really want to restore it and drive it about. I mean, can you imagine? That's going to be such fun. I absolutely can't. That's one of my. I really want that to happen. So I've got to make that happen somehow. my artwork. I am, you know, if you're ever interested in buying a house portrait, this all helps me to carry on doing that. And I like drawing, especially houses. That's one of my things. But yeah, so with that in mind, I thought maybe you could help me, you know, like help me come up with a new name, basically. Channel name ideas. I mean, God, it's really hard. It's hard. I did come up with some ideas before I got it down on paper, because knowing me, I completely forget as soon as I've... It's really... Well, because what... I like a generic name that doesn't really imply any specific subject. Channel name ideas that I had come up with: Food Files UK, and that was inspired by I used to love the Rockford Files, if anyone remembers that back in the day. I absolutely loved Jim Rockford. I thought he reminded me of my dad, actually. That's probably what it was. But him and his dad, and I used to love the Rockford Files. So Food Files UK I quite like. The Food Probe, I'm not that keen. Behind the Barcode, Food Unwrapped UK, no, but that's too similar to the Channel 4 show, so that's not a good idea. The Food Shift, UK Food Focus, not sure. So, you know, Fork and Facts. Do you see where I'm going with this? So if you have any ideas, then please let me know. Help me sort of find something. Maybe we'll talk about this more. Nothing's happening straight away. I'm just starting the process of letting you know. And yeah, maybe we can come up with a name together. And you can come along, because it's an evolution. I do excuse me, I do find that with YouTube, if any of you who are YouTubers out there is an element of growth and change, but the core subject remains the same. That's what's going on here. Because yeah, you know, that's it really. Anyway, I better go, because I've got to go to work. So thanks so much for watching, everyone, and take care. And as I said before, links are going to be in the description to that little video we watched, and to other stuff that I found out in relation to what we've just been chatting about. Thank you so much for watching. And if you've got any new info out there regarding all the stuff that we've talked about, email me, because I will cover it if I can. Thank you so much. Take care. See you on the next one. Bye.